Hi there, good to see you again, and we just want to thank you for choosing us to be part of your healthcare team. Today we're going to talk about the power of specialty lab testing. So in addition to all the routine and basic labs that we can run for you, there are several other things that can help us dig deeper into helping you get back to optimal health.
Yeah, absolutely. So today what we want to do is we want to lay out like the top specialty tests that we like to use for people. And starting with the first one, probably the most common because it's so relevant across so many different conditions, is a specialty food allergy panel. And here what we look at is really digging deep on, you know, a kind of a range, almost 100 foods to see if you are possibly having an immune system reaction to it.
These are great too, because a lot of times people come in and they say, well, I'm not experiencing GI symptoms, my stomach's fine, but if you've got pain, inflammation, brain fog, this can be a really, really important test to identify some problems. So,
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And so our next one that I know for me is a personal favorite because it really just dives in and gives us a wide range of information on your nutrient status, your vitamin, mineral, and your basically also your metabolic need. So more than that's a little deeper than like say just measuring a basic B12. It looks at how are your cells using B12. What is the need and your enzyme intake for the need for B12. So it gets super deep, and I love that
on so many nutrients. And it also gives so many clues on other systems. Like it's not just looking at your nutrient levels, but also it gives some clues on how your body is breaking down things in your gastrointestinal tract, and just it's a really comprehensive and interesting test.
Right.
And then our next one is heavy metal testing. So it's called a toxic and essential elements test. We tend to do it with urine, and this is a great one with mystery conditions where people are struggling with things, immune dysfunction, get sick frequently, just can't get better, and autoimmune conditions. This is really big, and I always test my patients who have Hashimoto's or other autoimmune conditions. We want to look at are there environmental factors like heavy metals, which are very, very common with a lot of people. Is this something that will block you from getting well if we don't address it?
And that leads us to genetic testing. This really, it is definitely a type of very, your unique ability to be able, to either break down things, or your basically your ability or need for different types of amino acids, vitamins, minerals, things like that. And this really can affect people on every level, whether it's energy or their mood or ability. Like say people will have mold exposure, just for instance, but in a household and they're the only one who gets extremely ill, can really just come back to genetic ability to be able to detoxify.
Exactly. Like why are some people more susceptible to some things than others?
Exactly.
And then one of my favorites is looking at our neurotransmitters. People think of neurotransmitters as just part of the brain, but actually our gut as well is a huge part of that. 95% of our neurotransmitters are made in the gut. And this is once again, this is a urine test that looks at several neurotransmitters, all the big ones you've heard of, like serotonin, GABA, dopamine, catecholamines, things like that, but it also looks at the precursors to these neurotransmitters and the breakdown products. So that way we can get a really comprehensive picture and see, like, okay, this isn't, you might be feeling depressed or anxious, brain fog, lack of focus, and it's nice to be like, oh, this isn't just because you don't have enough serotonin, or just because you don't have, it really lets us look at a whole picture, and that can be really helpful in guiding treatment.
Absolutely. And on that note, that last test, that if you're not, say, most of the brain neurotransmitters are made in the gut, so coming back to the gut again, gut is so important, so we do use the food allergy testing, but there is also a comprehensive gut test that we use that identifies, do you have what we call pathogenic or really bad bacteria living in there that are creating toxins that are affecting you? Do you have yeast overgrowth? Do you have parasites?
Lack of good bacteria from a lot of things, antibiotics most commonly, but also just inflammation in the gut, poor food choices that don't work for you.
Right.
Certain drugs actually inhibit or change that microbiome. And then we can also test for SIBO, which is bacterial overgrowth in the upper intestine, which causes a lot of problems for people. So
right. So today really we just wanted to let you know that, you know, even if we haven't gotten to this place yet with you, you know, because we're taking things step by step and really looking at the whole picture, there's so many other options that we might or that we should consider for you, you know, for your overall health. Well, so thank you so much for joining us today, and we look forward to seeing you soon.